Hey guys, what's going on? It's your local Jerry, and I wanted to make a video regarding defensive positioning within Jikkyou Powerful Pro Yakyuu. It's definitely a component that I don't think is talked about a lot, and I think it has a lot of potential, and it allows you to get some outs and to lock down defense a lot better. So if we can get into this is the main screen, but I'm going to get into the overview of all the basic defensive positioning shifts that you can do within the game. I don't think we're going to be covering all the scenarios, just the main core ones that are most important. Maybe we'll do another video regarding the other ones, but I wanted to just cover them and give them their basic overview of when to use them, good times to use them, and also the translation. So if we can get into it, let's show it up. Alright, so I translated all of the basic defensive positioning for you guys just to get an overview and a visual so you can see it before we get into each one. So as you can see, these are all the ones that were translated. I translated the positions as well, just so you can get a visual. So we have fixed positioning, we have pull alert or pulling alert, we have extra base hit, strikeout or passing strike alert, bunt alert, defensive intermediate, defensive forward, that's what the D stands for, and then outward forward or outfield forward. So yeah, let's get into that. We have obviously left field, center field, right field, but mainly most of the shifts are going to be happening within the infield, so shortstop, third, second, and first. So let's get into it. Alright, so with fixed positioning, this is just going to be the standard position for your infield. So when you start out the game, they're just going to have this is basically default. So your infield, outfield, this is their set position before you want to adjust them. As you can see, everyone has pretty good spatial awareness between first, second, and third. The outfield is in between the infield and the fence. So this is just a good time to take note and to understand where your players are originally before you shift them, just so you know their standard setup. So second up, we have pulling alert or pull alert, and this is directly regarding the batter. So if the batter is right-handed or left-handed, this will determine how your fielding will be adjusted. So if he's right-handed, if you can visualize him swinging right-handed, he'll be hitting to the left-hand side of the field. So your left-hand side infield and defensive positioning will be strictly affected by that. If he's left-handed, he will be hitting to the right-hand side of the field if he's pulling the ball all the way to the right-hand side. So your infield will be basically adjusting to those certain adjustments, and they will be all based upon that. So for example, just to get more in depth, if he's right-handed and he's hitting to the left-hand side, then you will be seeing your shortstop and your third baseman mainly affected. If he's left-handed, you'll mainly be seeing your second baseman and first baseman and your outfield, even your right field, mainly adjusted by this. And this is just to kind of tie down that side of the field if the batter in fact pulls the ball to that side. Now moving on to the third defensive positioning shift, we have extra base hit or extra base shift, if you want to call it that. You can see it on the screen. It's the third option of the basic defensive positioning, and basically this defensive positioning shift all entails eliminating an extra base from the hit. So as you can see, the outfield has moved completely back, mainly to the warning track, mainly to the back of the field, and this is just to eliminate if a ball is hit past them or hit into the gap, they can eliminate that and get the ball in to not allow the batter or the runner from getting an extra base. Mainly, sometimes a double if you can get in front of it, and this is mainly to avoid triples as well. Obviously, triples will be almost practically completely eliminated from this defensive shift, and also sometimes you can eliminate doubles, which are pretty helpful. The main thing is though that it's probably going to allow a base hit because the shallow outfield is now more open since the outfielders are pushed farther back, but this just eliminates mainly triples and sometimes doubles, which can be very helpful if you're trying to control and contain a batter. Alright, so the next defensive positioning shift is passing strike alert. So it's either a passing strike or passing ball is what I got translated, and basically what this entails is the infield is expecting the ball not to be hit. So you can see the shortstop moving and hovering over the second base to potentially expect a first base runner stealing. So he's already there to catch the ball and tag him out, or it's already being set up for a double play. So you can see this. You can see the third baseman is moving more to the shortstop to cover his ground, but the main gist of this shift is to expect the ball not to be hit. And if it is hit, they are still adjusted slightly, but mainly it's that shortstopman who's hovering over the second base to guard that play for either a double play or tagging a guy on a steal. So yeah. Alright, so next big one we have bunt alert, and this is the last one on the top. And this one's huge. A lot of people use this, especially in competitive play, and this one's pretty important. So you have, obviously, if you can see, the first baseman and the third baseman are kind of cheating against the line, so they're caved in, expecting the bunt. And then you can see the shortstopman and the second baseman kind of stay in the same position, but that main shift is coming from the first baseman and the third baseman as they are preparing for a bunt. They can get the ball quickly into their gloves and they can get the proper out. So this position shift is very popular in competitive play. I see it a lot, and you definitely want to get used to this because this is one of the more popular shifts that are used while playing this game. So next we have one of the final defensive shifts, and this is called defensive intermediate. That's what it was translated. And this, when I was reading about this was just a shift that was used for either double plays or playing at the plate. So you can see the infield is moving back a little bit. They're dropping back to, I guess, secure the out, and they're also playing closer to their bags. You can mainly see the shortstop and the second baseman are very close to their second base, so they can definitely secure the double play. And this is also used in competitive play. I see a lot. The outfield doesn't move too much. I think they move back a little, but for the most part, this is infield centric, and it's mainly for the shortstopman and the second baseman to ensure that double play. And even the third baseman's closer to his bag, and obviously the first baseman's closer to his bag, which he's always close to his bag. But the main ones you want to look at is shortstop and second base, and how they're securing that double play and they're playing back. Next up, we have another and very important defensive shift that I personally use a lot, and I think it's very useful, and it's forward defense. This is when all of your infield is moved in. It's kind of like bunt alert with the first and second baseman moving up, but they're choked up more. This is more of all of the infielders are choked in, and this is mainly to prevent a basically a scoring play happening from home plate. So this is very important if you have bases loaded, there's one out, and you need to make sure that you need to get that force out at home to not allow a run to come in. So the infield's moving in, the outfield kind of stays in their same position. They move back a little, but as you can see, the shallow outfield is kind of opening as a weakness, but mainly the infield is moved in. They want to get that force out at home, and they want to also prevent third base as well. So it's just basically just preventing a scoring run from happening, and it's very useful, and I highly recommend you look into this one as well as the other ones. Alright, and finally we have one of the last basic defensive positioning shifts, and this is outfield forward. That's what it was translated when I translated it. And this is also very important. As you can see, the outfield is moving more to shallow outfield, and the infield is moving back a little as well. And this is used primarily to prevent a second base runner from scoring home. As you can see, if the outfield is usually back in the intermediate positioning, if a ball is placed into shallow outfield, 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, unless you have a highly skilled outfielder to gun him at the plate, that second base runner is most likely tagging, running around third, and they're hitting home if it's hitting the shallow. So this positioning shift is very important, and it's used, as you can see, the outfielders are moved in, the infielders are moved back a little in a more secure position, and that's mainly to prevent a second base runner from scoring home. This is also a very important one. I use it a lot, and I highly recommend you use it because this is used in competitive play as well. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for defensive positioning and the basic mechanics of it. I definitely want to go over this just to kind of shed some light on it. I feel like it's not talked about enough, and I definitely want to just kind of bring it up and highlight all of the different position shifts and how they're used and the importance of them in Jikkyou Powerful Pro Yakyuu 2019. If you have any more suggestions or anything I should do in the future, please let me know. But I definitely want to make this video because I felt like it was super helpful, especially to translate it, so you definitely know the basic core mechanics of shifting. These are the basic ones. I know there's more advanced ones depending on situational baseball, and I've definitely seen some more in the future, so maybe I'll go over them. But these are just the basic ones that are just coming right out of the gate that I think you should get a core understanding of. So that's going to do it for this video. If you like it, please subscribe or like the video. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Peace, guys.